Welcome back everyone, I'm Danny the Dinosaur Drawer, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to draw an Elasmosaurus head. The equipment we're going to be using today is a pencil, which is not my Graphic Gear 500 mechanical pencil today, just a regular sketching pencil, and an eraser of course, and some paper. So get out your materials and we will begin the tutorial. Alright, so as usual we're going to be putting in an outline. So Elasmosaurus has quite a long head, so you want to make sure you have enough space on your paper to do the whole thing. And the jaw is going to be open, of course, so you can see more of the teeth. It's got a nice curve to it. It curves down. And then we're going to show a little bit of the neck behind it, which is very important. The eye is going to be right about here. We're going to have a little bit of muscle that opens and closes the jaw. We'll probably show a little bit of the tongue, and then of course all the teeth, but we won't put that in just yet. And then it's going to have a serious amount of scales, like lots of them, and that part maybe will be time-lapsed. The ear is going to be right back here. I mean, our outline is pretty good, so I think we can move on to the next stage, which is just going to be refining and putting in more detail. And for this stage I might resort to one of my mechanical pencils, just because I like them a lot. Okay, so have your eraser handy as well. You're going to need it, believe me, if you're as sloppy as I am in your outlines. So we're going to start with the snout and work our way to the right to avoid smudging. Okay, so let's put in the first tooth, right about here. And for each tooth you want to have like a little bit of a semicircle above it, above the cone shape, to make it look like it's actually embedded in the gum of the Elasmosaurus. So we're going to continue the teeth all the way along to the back here, and they get gradually smaller. Actually no, the biggest one's right about here. So they get bigger and then they get smaller as they get closer to the back end of the head. Just go ahead and put these teeth in, and don't worry about the line there, we'll erase that in due time. So here the teeth can get a little bit closer together. As you can see, I'm making them smaller until they fade off. Okay, so if you have like an eraser on the back of your pencil, I would highly recommend you use it because it's going to be smaller. But if you have nothing else, like me, I'm just going to use my big eraser here, which might take part of the teeth out. That's okay. Now I'm going to firm up this line that goes in between the teeth, like so. So continue this line all the way to the back of the head where it joins with the bottom jaw. So as you can see, it's quite curved. It's got a nice smooth shape to it. Okay, so let's continue on with the outer edge. It looks almost like a running shoe, doesn't it? It's gonna have a high forehead. Not too much of a brow. The eyes are kind of like embedded in the head there. And speaking of eyes, let's give this one a little bit more detail. So it's going to be nice and wide because it's like an underwater animal. They usually have wider eyes so they can see in the dark. Alright, so let's give it a nice thin pupil, similar to like a cat eye. And then let's darken the edges here. If you have a shading pencil, you can definitely use it at this point. Let's see what I have. I like a 5B with me, so I want to darken the eye up a bit. Looks sort of like the eye of Sauron, doesn't it? The great eye. Okay, so the eye looks pretty cool. Looks a little bit creepy, but that's fine. Let's put some wrinkles around it, or some lids, I guess, on both sides, top and bottom. Then let's put some more wrinkles. And then right around the eye, it's sort of going to have like a little bit of a socket. It's not going to be like too shrink wrapped, but we do want to make the eye look like it's set inside the head. So add some shading. So pretty cool. The nostril is going to be right about here. So go ahead and put like a little teardrop shape for that. And then we can put a bunch of scales around it. But we don't want it to look like a flower. That's happened to me before, where the nostril ends up looking like a little flower. Just put more scales around it. And of course the scales are going to get bigger, but we'll do that later. One thing to note is that each tooth is going to have like a large scale around it. And we might as well put those in right now. And these don't have to be completely round, they can be like more several sided shapes. And then after this I'm going to probably darken up our teeth a bit because they look a little bit faded. So as you guys can see, I'm mainly darkening one side. I'm trying to give the teeth more of a 3D look and show that they're not actually flat. There we go. And you can add a little bit more line work on the teeth to show the grain. And then we're going to have the teeth on the other side next. And these are going to be completely silhouetted, which means they're going to be completely colored in. So take your shading pencil or your regular pencil and yeah, color them in nice and solid. Alright, so we got all the teeth done on the upper jaw at least. Let's move on to this muscle, which opens and closes the jaw. I should have learned the name of this muscle because I mention it in like pretty much every tutorial. But we're just going to do like a bunch of lines here. Maybe a little bit of extra shading at the top. On the edge. Now we're going to see the muscle on the other side, so let's go ahead and do that. But don't bring it all the way to the bottom jaw, because we want some room for the tongue. I'm just going to be right about there. Before we put the tongue in, I want to do the teeth on the bottom jaw, and firm up the outer lines. So let's draw it nice and faint, so it's not too hard to erase. So Elasmosaurus is like a very thin bottom jaw, very thin and long, which suggests it probably ate fish, probably didn't eat anything too hard. I'm sure it could have broken like a clamshell open, but yeah, probably mainly ate fish. I'm pretty sure people have found like skeletons of Elasmosaurus with like fish debris inside it. Okay, so that's really nice. Got a nice flow to it. So the teeth on the bottom jaw, I want them to sort of be sticking out a little bit, similar to like the Indoraptor. So they're not going to be completely straight, they're sort of going to be sticking out to the side a bit. I'm trying to make the teeth like interesting, don't make them all the same size. That's often the problem like a lot of little kids have, is all the teeth look the same size, which doesn't look accurate. Okay, so let's continue the tongue. And then let's put the line on the other side, for the opposite side of the bottom jaw. And go ahead and put the teeth on the other side. By the way, guys, I hope my hand is not blocking too much of the drawing. I know that's often a complaint that I get. Okay, so we're shading in the teeth on the other side. Alright, looks pretty good. Now let's see if I have a... Ooh, look, I have like a frozen pencil here that I can use to clean up these teeth, because it's got a nice end eraser. The teeth aren't too bad, but yeah, a little cleaning up was in order. Okay, so let's make this line finalized. And then also darken the teeth up a bit, like what we did with the upper jaw. Except this time the shading is going to be on the opposite side. Don't ask me why, I'm just sort of copying what the person did in this reference image, which is really well drawn, by the way. Somebody on DeviantArt, I think. I should have given them a shout out, but I forgot to look up their name. Alright, so we're almost done with the teeth, and I think we are done with the teeth. For the tongue, we can do a little bit of line work here. I don't want to overdo it too much because it might take away from our teeth. But yeah, just give it a little bit of color and texture. Don't leave it just completely white there. Okay, that's probably good enough for the tongue. There's not too much else to do. Let's just firm this line up and put in the ear, which is going to be hidden back here. Ha ha ha, here. No pun intended. And then the rest of, all the scales are going to be pretty easy. I'm just going to have that time lapse because it's probably going to take me like 30 minutes to do all the scales. Because as you guys know, scales take a very long time. But yeah, for the neck, we're going to also put scales in. We're going to have like a midline right here. The bottom jaw continues up here. So I will see you guys in a couple minutes. Enjoy the time lapse. Alright guys, here is the finished Elasmosaurus head drawing. Congratulations to all of you who were able to finish the tutorial, and yeah, who did all the scales. That took a lot of work. I don't know if it was 30 minutes or not, but yeah, scales take a lot of time and discipline, and yeah, if you like this video, leave it a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you've not checked out my vlog channel, be sure to do that. I'll have a link to it in the description below. It's called Danny Adventure Vlogs, and I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so I appreciate all the support from you guys. Yeah, and I will see you guys in the next video. Be sure to comment below what you think I should draw next, and I'll add it to my list. Thanks so much for watching.